Hello happy souls, welcome back to my channel. This is Charlotte with Happy Twins 1111. My beautiful friends, I'm so happy for you to join me today. We are doing the reading that you voted for in my community page poll, which was how do I heal myself? What's blocking me from moving forward towards my highest good? What's blocking me from aligning with my best timeline? How can I improve my overall sense of well-being? How can I be happy? How can I continue to evolve? And what do I need to focus on to do that? You know, what is the healing that needs to happen for you? There's three paths for you to choose from. We have got the Magical Nordic Tarot with Rose Quartz. We have got the Moonchild Tarot with Amazonite. And we have the Apparition Tarot with Lemurian Quartz. So take your time choosing. The comments are in the description box below. They're also pinned at the top of the comments. And I will see you at your pile. Hello Pile 1, I hope you're well. I hope this video finds you well. We are asking today, what do you need to do to heal? What's the healing that you need the most? What are you not acknowledging about yourself, about your circumstances? You know, what comfort zones are you staying stuck in? What's causing you pain and how can you rectify it? This is all about aligning with your highest and best timeline and becoming the best version of yourself. So this is for you. It's all about you. What don't you see about yourself, good and bad? You know, we're going to dig it all out today. Radical self-reflection is the way forward. It's the way we continue evolving. This is a Magical Nordic Tarot. It was a gift from one of my viewers. You guys really do spoil me. You're so sweet. I really appreciate it when you send me decks. I've got quite a collection now and it really does help keep my readings fresh. So while I'm shuffling, I'm not actually doing private readings at the moment, but if you guys would like to be on the mailing list, which updates you when I am, you can find that on my website, which is at happysouls1111.com. I do open my diary from time to time. So yeah, if you want to be alerted, make sure you check out my website. And I'm still offering spirit release therapy. Winter is a really good time to get a spirit release clearing. You can find that on my website as well. And I'm teaching Reiki in January. I'm so very excited to share that with you. I've been a Reiki master for a couple of years and I normally do my attunements face to face, but I did a session with my students recently just to see how distance attunements felt, because passing on Reiki is really beautiful. I get such an incredible feeling when I attune someone, and I wanted to make sure that it still felt the same, you know, that it still felt good, and it does. It was just beautiful. Very excited to share that with you guys. If you haven't done Reiki 1 is for self-healing. You know, it's the energy we give to ourselves to heal selves, and it's quite beautiful. It's definitely worthwhile if you're on the healing path. Anyway, let's do this. Pile 1, let's look at what needs to be healed. Now, I'm going to pull some cards first and ask what present circumstances are causing you pain. It's best to start with what you're aware of with healing. So always begin with what you know. You know, we all know what some of our pain is connected to. There are hidden depths within us, of course, triggers that we're not aware of, pain that we're not consciously aware of. But you know, there is a lot above the surface that you will be aware of, and that's what you want to be tackling first. But we'll see what comes through. We want to know what you're not seeing too. Let's look at your present then. So we've got the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. We've got the 9 of Pentacles in reverse. We've got the 3 of Pentacles. We've got the King of Swords in reverse. I'm going to get one more. The High Priestess. I love these energies already. I love it when this happens. Sometimes even just as I turn the card over, I just get a rush of information, like a download, and I get this one already. I'm seeing what's happening here. Oh, Pile 1, I want to give you a hug. I just want to give you a hug. You need a hug. Right. For me, with this Knight of Pentacles in the reverse as the first card out, this is someone that doesn't know what to do. It feels like you're very aware that you need to make changes in your life, that you need to grow and expand beyond your current situation because it's not serving you and you're not happy. But there's this real lack of understanding of how to move forward, of what to do. It's a feeling of being very stuck, very confused. And it also seems quite overwhelming. It seems like there's such a lot for you to actually address that you just don't know where to start. And because it is so much, it almost feels futile, like, gosh, I'm going to be doing this forever. It just feels very overwhelming. This is someone that has been, I feel, reliant on a partner for quite a long time. We've got the Two of Cups here and the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. And I feel like there is an issue here connected to your sense of security and stability that's related to relationships. I do feel that you find that you function better when you have a partner, when you're with someone that's supporting you. And it feels like you might be in a relationship or have recently left a relationship in which you don't feel financially secure or abundant without that safety net, without someone to help you do it. It feels like there's a deep longing here. For those of you that maybe haven't left a relationship, there's a desire to have one. There's this feeling that I can't be successful, stable and happy on my own. And with this Three of Pentacles, this is called recognition. This is wanting someone to see how hard you work. This is wanting someone to see what you do and to value it and to appreciate it. It feels like no one notices your input. And you just feel very lonely when you're operating more independently. There's just a desire here for that soulmate, for that long-term relationship, with the Ten of Swords in reverse as well. This is really revealing, because this energy of what's keeping you stuck, this is a pain you're not aware of. The feeling of fear and anxiety connected to creating change is rooted in some kind of really brutal trauma that hasn't been resolved. Let me get a card to find out what that is. What is this trauma that hasn't been resolved? The Happiness and the Sun, so this is connected to childhood. The Four of Cups in reverse and the Moon in reverse. So this feels like you've had perhaps ongoing mental health problems connected to anxiety and depression. And this roots back to your childhood. We've got the Sun here, which is actually the card of happiness. But when we're looking, in the context of what hasn't been healed, and it's connected to the Four of Cups in reverse, which is in this card deck titled Awareness, the Moon in reverse, which is fear. The Moon is absolute fear and panic of what's coming next, the need to know so that you can feel safe. And it's just, this hopeless feeling of nothing's going to work out for me. I don't know how to be happy. I've never known now how to be happy. I've not seen happy demonstrated to me by my caregivers, by my close loved ones. Can people really be happy? So part of the problem here is that there is a limiting belief connected to happiness. You're not aware of what actually adds up to a happy person or what would make you happy. You've got this idea that being with someone, being in a stable relationship, having a soulmate to support the stability that you really need and want is going to help you, feel good. But in truth, whilst that can help bring some joy to our lives, it's never going to fill that hole that's in you. Happiness is an inside job, and it feels like no one's taught you how to do that. You don't know where to begin, and you also have this idea that it seems a bit hopeless and impossible. Who's really that happy? You may see people online, people on television, people in books that claim to be happy, me, for example, but you just don't see that this is someone you can be. It feels like a very hopeless situation, and so I feel like you've probably been raised in a really dysfunctional environment where, general overall well-being and a balanced, healthy attitude to life wasn't present for you. It wasn't demonstrated to you. And so there's this gap that you're looking to fill and you just don't know how. Above all else, this frustration comes through. And I just want to say to you, Part 1, that you are special. You're really special. I know no one says that to you often enough, and that maybe you don't feel valued or appreciated. But in part, this you need to learn to give this love to yourself, because the voice in your head is going round and round in circles, repeating these cycles of old negative comments about yourself that aren't true. And this really exacerbates the problem. You are special and you are valued. And when you dig deep, there's a lot of things about yourself that you do like and value, but you're so very hard on yourself and you don't give yourself that pat on the back. It really does have to start with you. There's a need to start looking within for those feel-good feelings rather than continuing to place your sense of well-being in the hands of others, which is essentially what you do when you look to relationships, friends or acquaintances or family to help you feel good. This is the energy of just wanting someone to show you that you are lovable, and you are lovable. I promise you that you are lovable. We've got the King of Swords in reverse here, and this is labelled structure. For me, the King of Swords is about truth. It's about clarity. It's about clear and authentic communication. So when this card comes up and it's referred to as structure and it's in reverse, for me, this is someone that is really lost even when it comes to asking for help. There is no structure or logic or understanding that's helping you anchor the way forward, that's helping you understand the way forward. This does feel like a period of confusion and not really understanding what the truth about your situation or yourself is. I just feel like overall, Par 1, there's a need for you with this Page of Cups energy, to distract yourself from heavy topics. There is definitely an avoidance here of the deeper emotional depths and a reluctance to apply any structure to how you self-soothe and care for yourself. Now, I want to give you an example of how caring for yourself might look. Let's say you've got a child or a best friend or a partner, you live with someone, yeah? And one of the healthy boundaries and conditions and expectations in a relationship is that we demonstrate care, affection and listening and reassurance to those we love. So a child, if you had a child and they came home from school and they said to you, I've had a terrible day, this has happened, that's happened, I feel absolutely rotten, you would give time to that child. If you're healthy and you're in a good place, most loving, balanced parents or loving, balanced partners or best friends or whatever this relationship is would say, oh my God, you've had a bad day. I'm so sorry to hear this. Tell me about it. What happened? And you would help them reframe it. Well, that's not true about you. This person may have said that to you, but they're just projecting their own dramas, or they're being unkind, or they're not being fair. You would reassure them. You would help them reframe the situation. You'd help them to feel better. This, my friend, is something you have to learn to do for yourself. This is what healthy people do. They have a debrief. Oh God, I've had a really terrible day. Let me see if I can figure that out in my mind. And they develop a pattern of self-soothing, of being kind to themselves, because they know who they are. They have a strong sense of self. Now, when we are riddled with all of this self-doubt and these very limiting beliefs about ourselves, what we do instead is go round and round in circles, repeating all of those harsh things that people have ever said to us. They become hardwired. It's no longer a thought, it's a program that's running in the background. And the only way to stop that program and reprogram it, the only way to recondition ourselves to feel better is to become aware. Remember, we had awareness here with this Four of Cups. This is about self-reflection, taking time out to become aware of how you're actually feeling. And it's catching yourself in the act. It's saying to yourself, oh my God, I've had a bad day and I've just, I'm sat here saying, oh, you're so rubbish, Charlotte. You should have done that yesterday. You should have caught up yesterday so you'd have been on time today. And if you'd have done this properly, there wouldn't have been a delay and you wouldn't have got a bollocking and da-da-da-da. We really beat ourselves up. And what you're doing is just repeating all of those old programs of words, conversations, negative things that have been said to you and about you that you've begun to believe because they've been repeated so many times. And so you start to think they're true, but they're not true. And you can undo those patterns and reduce the associated bad feelings with them by developing awareness of what you're thinking. This requires you to have that debrief and that conversation with yourself. But above all else, it does require you to go deep. As I said, there is a resistance here towards really acknowledging your deeper feelings. You have been trained or taught by your caregivers and your life experience to bury your pain. Not to indulge it, but to bury it and to carry on and to just keep going. And it feels like there's so much there now that it's intimidating to investigate it. No one wants to relive pain. No one wants to go back and experience pain again. But it is an important part of healing. Learning to do it and to discharge it when it happens is obviously the healthiest thing. But from a standing start, if you've never done this before, we've got some old ground to go over. And you are able to do this. This just requires you to slow down, recognize how you're looking for that solution externally. You're looking for the people around you to change and adapt, or for someone to be there to help you feel stable, secure, balanced, healthy. You're looking for that reassurance. You feel so lonely without that recognition, without that validation and without that approval. And you needn't. You know, this is about going in and recognizing that you have everything you need, and you don't realize that you do, because we've got the High Priestess here upright, showing us that you do, showing us that you are empowered, that you do have this ability to step into wholeness. But with the Six of Pentacles in reverse, which is called gifts in this deck, but coming up in reverse, you don't believe this about yourself. You know, you watch tarot readers, you read about healers, you watch other people doing this work, and you believe in spirit, you believe in psychics, you feel very empowered by being part of this community and learning about it, but you're not allowing yourself to step into that energy. You're not seeing that you are powerful, you are magical, you have all the answers within you, because you're connected to source and you're connected to the truth of who you are and your higher self. You may not feel it, but that connection's there. It's just about switching it on. So there is a need here to acknowledge your gifts. There's a need to, step out of your own comfort zone and start embracing change. And I want you to start with baby steps, because, this fear that you're carrying, this anxiety, this panic that the future isn't going to work out for you, that's going to take some time to put to bed. Fears don't disappear overnight. Unfortunately, it's just not as easy as saying, well, I know that's not true, so I'm not going to think it anymore. It's already hardwired, and we have to reprogram that belief. And so the fears, they're going to hold you back to begin with. And you've just got to be gentle with yourself. Start again tomorrow. And each day you'll notice small improvements. The key for you is learning to meditate. This is how you open up to your higher self and how you open up to the spiritual power within you. Meditation, you can do it for 1 minute or 2 minutes, 10 minutes or 30 minutes. I prefer to give myself regular 1 to 2 minute bursts of meditation throughout my day. That's what helps keep me aligned. That's what helps me be mindful and present with my reality. When you are in a meditative state, your mind is receiving instructions at several million times the pace. And that's a proven fact. That's neuroscience. When our brain moves into theta state, which is what happens when we meditate, the action receptors in our brain respond to commands and instructions at several million times the pace. What this means is that when you talk to yourself kindly, the energy that you're wanting from a partner, this union energy that you think is going to stabilize you and make you happy, when you give that to yourself in meditation, it's like having 7 million conversations with yourself. It's like being party to several million beautiful, affirming, positive conversations about you. That's what starts rewiring the fear and the anxiety and these limiting beliefs. So I know this is very practical advice I'm giving you, but I feel like this is what you need, because you are stuck. There is healing needed to be done here. You've grown up around very low vibrational and negative people, pessimistic people, people who haven't succeeded in life, people who haven't succeeded at being happy, at being lovable, at being healthy, about being balanced, and you have this energy in you. You have to trust that it's there and that you can connect with it. You don't need a soulmate to make you feel whole. You don't need recognition from outside of yourself. What you need is to undo all of these horrible things that you believe about yourself, and to have the courage to actually go deep with your emotions and revisit them. I promise you, it's like tearing off a Band-Aid. We dread it, but once you've done it, it feels so good. You feel so much lighter, I promise you. Healing is a very addictive experience when you commit to it. I look forward to a deep purge now, because I know I'm going to feel high as a kite afterwards. It's like the runner's high. You run, you put yourself through all of that pain and grueling exercise, but then you feel amazing afterwards. And that's what healing's like. You have all of this pain, it comes up, you feel it again, it's ugly, but then you connect dots, you understand it. Through revisiting it, you develop awareness, which allows you to release it and feel good. You have such a lovely disposition. By nature, you are very strong. You're very resilient, because you've carried this pain for such a long time. And yet you do have, when you're not really dragged down by these depression and anxiety symptoms, you actually have a lovely disposition. You have a good nature. You have a big, beautiful heart. You are a loving and lovable person. Believe me, I want to give you a hug so much, part one, because I know that you don't believe this about yourself. You don't see all the goodness in you, and it's because no one else sees it, and you think if no one else sees it, it can't be there. But sometimes we're just around the wrong people. We're around people that are looking for the wrong things in us. In fact, they're not looking for anything other than, can we fill a hole for them? You know, most people are energy vampires, and high vibrational energy always flows to lower vibrational energy. So, you know, people, they're not doing it consciously, they're not doing it on purpose, but most people are just draining you of energy. They're around you because, you know, you've got something to give. And, you know, not everyone's going to see all of the light in you and all of the joy in you, and you don't need them to. So we've also got boundaries, barriers, sleep, acceptance, and alternative. Now, this is the Whispers of Healing Oracle. I do list all the decks I use in the description box below. I want to show you this boundaries card. I want to bring it up close because you can see here that there's this like woman with a peacock. Now, the peacock represents ego. You've got a woman with a child down here, and then you've got this little kind of cherub image in the background. I'm just looking at this here. This looks like some kind of snaky, fishy creature with a castle on its back. But this is a number 5 card. It's about change and transformation. And we got barriers out for you as well. And so this is highlighting for me that you are still confused about what healthy boundaries are. Now, when we first start putting boundaries in place, and we've not had boundaries or good boundaries before, and we're not really familiar with what healthy boundaries are, we quite often swing to the opposite extreme, and we have barriers. We have boundaries that are too firm. Now, this may protect you and create some stability, but it can also create an unbalanced dynamic that's not healthy. And boundaries, obviously, they go both ways. And I'm feeling that this is the boundaries you're setting in terms of how others, particularly people in romantic situations, need to treat you. Now, a healthy boundary and an unhealthy boundary, it's such a grey area. You know, you need to develop a high level of discernment around what is right and what is fair. Now, the unhealthy boundary that's coming to mind for me is connected to communication, and it's connected to family and motherhood and ego here. And I feel like, you know, there's people in and around you, particularly connected to your family unit, that feel entitled to your time. And, you know, you may have put barriers in place which are too robust, but that sense of entitlement over your time, you also have a pattern of demanding that from others. You're not seeing the boundary and the barriers that, you know, are already distorted and not balanced in your own family unit are being transferred, and you're repeating these cycles in romance. Now, you are not entitled to anyone's time, and no one is entitled to yours. So, you know, if you hold this belief that people can call you when they want at their convenience, no matter how much it inconveniences or brings you discomfort, that's not a healthy boundary. You know, just because someone messages you doesn't mean that you're obligated to respond. Sometimes we need time to ourselves. Sometimes we're just having a chilled evening and we don't want to listen to someone else's concerns or day or even general chit chat, and that's okay. You're not good at saying no, but this also gives you a false sense of entitlement around the energy of others, particularly when it comes to love. Why do you ignore my messages? Why don't you call me regularly? You know, why do you take so long to respond? You're very triggered by these behaviors because you've been taught that, you know, that's okay, and it's not okay. You know, you need to learn to self-soothe. You need to learn to recognize that when people don't communicate with you, usually it's not about you. It's not because they're rejecting you. It's because they're busy and they're doing something else and they're just not in the mood to communicate or interact. Doesn't mean they don't care. It doesn't mean that they're not going to communicate later. There's all kinds of reasons why people don't communicate. You know, some people genuinely work long hours and don't have access to their phone. You know, some people are on their phone all day and don't want to sit on it in the evening when they're relaxing and they're home from work. Some people have busy families, busy lives, stuff going on that sometimes we don't even know about. So there's a real need to develop awareness around boundaries. And I want you to do some research about this. There's too much for me to include in a 30-minute reading. You know, you need to Google this. You need to buy books. You need to learn about anxious attachment disorder, because you've been trained to people please, but in having been trained to please others, you're now under the illusion that others are meant to please you, that's what love is. Love is pleasing each other. Love is you know, these unhealthy boundaries, and as I said, there's a tendency to instate barriers rather than boundaries. These are walls. These are too much. You know, this is when it's ultimatums. If you don't do this, then I'm going to block you, or I'm going to do that. Or if you can't do this, then it's not going to work like that. It's ultimatums. It's unhealthy demands and limitations when your demands aren't met. And you've just got to be really honest with yourself. And I want to make this okay, because we all go through this energy. Most people that come out of an abusive situation where they've not been taught to value themselves don't have healthy boundaries and barriers. So don't beat yourself up for this. There is no shame here. There is no shame here at all. This is just about learning so that you can have healthy boundaries and barriers, not about beating yourself up and, you know, wishing that you had been different. You know, it's perfectly good to be in this, not perfectly good, but it's perfectly acceptable to be in this energy. We've all been here. You need to sleep more. There's definitely the energy here of a disrupted sleep pattern and not creating a healthy routine around that. You know, there are lots of healthy ways that you can address this. Audio hypnosis, again, meditation. There's lots of herbal remedies that help relax you. Chamomile, lavender. Acceptance. Acceptance is key towards healing. We create so much pain for ourselves when we tell ourselves that things aren't as they should be. This hurts and it shouldn't be like this. This has happened and it shouldn't be like this. It feels so unfair. The truth is, we cause ourselves so much anguish by sitting in that kind of regret, in that kind of resentment, in that kind of resistance. Life is never going to be perfect for anyone. It's not about having a perfect life. Believe me when I tell you that everyone, whether they look rich or poor, whether they look happy or sad, has trauma in their life. Everyone has pain. Everyone has upheaval. Everyone has difficulty. No one gets out alive without some kind of suffering and sacrifice. We are all learning and going through this. So you've got to stop looking at other people and comparing yourself and asking, why am I so doomed? You know, sometimes you feel really hard done by, like you have been cursed, and you're not recognizing that actually everything that's happened to you to date has made you who you are, and you are enough, and you are infinitely capable of always evolving to your highest potential and your best self. You know, you don't need to compare yourself to anyone else. Your life is like this because these are the lessons that you need to learn for your highest good. And you need to just trust and accept with, you know, life's flow. And this is connected to that emotion as well, and the denying emotion. You know, we know now that when we don't acknowledge our emotions, it owns us. You know, when we're not acknowledging how we feel about certain situations, when we're dwelling in all of this negative energy of non-acceptance and not acknowledging about ourselves, that low vibrational energy owns us. But we can find our way through that by just acknowledging it. Don't deny your story. That allows it to define you. You know, when you own your story, you can write the beautiful ending. You know, and if you want to fully experience love and belonging, and I know you do, you've got to learn to believe that you are worthy of love and belonging. You've got to find it in you. You know, that is so important. And you've just got to trust that being you is enough. You've got to accept that everything you've learned to date has been valuable and will continue to be, even if it was hard. It's the experiences that are challenging that really shape us. You know. Yeah, this is about learning to be emotionally vulnerable, you know, to cultivate love by being more emotionally receptive to yourself, you know, so that you can be deeply seen and known. You can honor the connection that's within you and, you know, offer yourself that trust and respect and kindness and affection. Love is not something we give or get, in truth. It really isn't. It's something that we can cultivate for ourselves. In a connection, it can only exist between two people when it exists in each of them. You know, you can't give someone something you don't have. So if you want to experience true love, you need to find it within you first. This is about reparenting yourself and becoming your own best friend, because you are so very hard on yourself, you know. And shaming yourself and blaming yourself and disrespecting yourself, withholding affection from yourself. You know, this is just damaging the connection from which love grows within you. love can't survive in that environment. You have to heal these things about yourself and acknowledge them and accept that this is your life, and start working with the hand of cards that you've been dealt, rather than resenting and resisting it and telling yourself it should be different. We've got reflection. See all aspects of yourself through the reflection of the one who mirrors your hidden self. So, this is a very twinny energy. This means there's people around you, if not a twin flame, that are mirroring back aspects of self you need to see. And those lessons will continue to present until you acknowledge them. Usually the things that annoy you and hurt you most about other people are the things that are trying to teach you the most. Pay attention. The things that annoy us about other people, we quite often find in ourselves. Again, meditation. Take a moment to connect to source through quiet, reflective meditation. And when your heart's intention is to serve humanity, doors of abundance naturally open. I'm going to say that to you again. When your heart's intention is to serve humanity, doors of abundance naturally open. That is a very powerful truth. When you are aligned and when you are feeling good, everything happens for you. And do you know what? I've not been very aligned lately. The energies have been so turbulent that I've really struggled to maintain consistent alignment. And I've noticed that when I'm not in alignment, everything starts to go wrong. Silly things, problems with the car, problems with the house, problems with colleagues or whatever. When you are not aligned, nothing flows as perfectly as it should. When you're aligned, abundance flows to you. Everything you need and want flows to you. When you find this peace within you, this acceptance, and you don't need to be healed to find acceptance. Finding peace is what allows you to start healing. Meditation empowers you to heal at a deeper level, but finding peace in meditation elevates you out of this fear state enough so that you can actually feel good and start healing from a much more balanced place. It doesn't mean you won't be triggered or that you'll become healed overnight. It means that you are achieving a healthier state of mind from which you can begin having productive and impactful progress with your healing. Right, I'm going to get some final guidance cards for you. What do you need to do to align with your highest potential? What do you need to be aware of and carry with you moving forward? Part 1. This is the Healing Path Tarot. We've got ancestors, strength, love and support. We've got Genesis, the birth of consciousness, your talent shines. We've got allowing success and good fortune into your life. And finally, we have got called and double mission. So, soul gifts and training, it's time to step up. Your talent shine, double mission, light worker, starseed. Serve the world by being you. This has already come up for you, about being in service. And accepting this alternative aspects of your nature. It does feel like you're very scared of stepping into this new spiritual path. You're afraid of being judged. You long for the support and acceptance of your family unit, your people. Strength, love and support for me, this is about finding your soul tribe as well. It says here that you're part of a greater collective, and this is such a beautiful energy here. Just remember that there are so many people on this journey with you. So many people that are feeling the same pain and purpose and struggling with the same energies. Please reach out. I have got a Facebook support group. It's for twin flames and ascending souls. Anyone that's on the healing path, you don't have to be a twin, but we are here for you. Please find friends that are on the same path and that understand your journey. This is where you're going to get that strength, love and support outside of yourself that's healthy, from people that understand what you're trying to achieve. The birth of consciousness, your talent shines. You are psychic, you are powerful, and there is an opportunity here to help others through exploring self and sharing what you've learned through that process. Which is exactly what I am doing now. I am sharing with you through my psychic channeling and skills, and also my own experience, what has worked for me, and being there for you. And you can do this for other people. You've got this beautiful ability to connect and relate to people in a very cheerful, loving way. As I said, you've got a really beautiful, gentle, appealing nature. You just need to develop that confidence to communicate from an emotive and intuitive perspective. It's in you. please trust it, pile 1. Now, I was going to do an extended reading today, but I've done a really long reading instead. So there's nothing for you to pay for an extended version. I really hope that you've enjoyed this reading. I've really enjoyed sharing it with you. I love these kind of readings. I think they're so helpful and supportive and productive, and it's the kind of guidance that we need. It's lovely, isn't it, to know what's going on in our love lives and in our loved ones' minds, but it's so much more powerful to focus these energies on you, you know, to see what you need and to inspire you to give yourself the love you deserve. And I hope I've achieved that today. And please let me know down in the comments how this felt for you. Oh, pardon me, a little croak in my voice there. I love hearing from you guys, and make sure you make a note of which pile you want to watch, because that will mean if you're drawn back to this video in the future, you know, you will know which one you've watched already. All of my readings are timeless, so just trust you found this at the right time for you today, and take what guidance resonates, leave what doesn't. I'm sending you so much love and light, and a big virtual hug, pile 1, and I really hope that you're going to smash this. I know that you are. Please keep in touch and let me know. Sending you big hugs. Bye. Hello, pile 2. Welcome to your reading. You have chosen a piece of amazonite and this beautiful Moonchild tarot. This is such a gorgeous deck. It's one of my faves. And we are asking today, what's blocking you? What do you need to know that needs healing? What's going on in your life that's keeping you stuck, that you're not acknowledging? What needs to be addressed to help you find a much healthier sense of well-being and happiness and joy? You know, where's the unhealthy patterns in your life right now that you're not seeing, that need to be addressed? How can you align with the best version of yourself? How can you co-create a brighter, healthier, happier future for yourself? That's what these readings are all about. I'll be offering as much practical guidance as I can, but you know, we're really looking at what's at the root here. What are you not seeing, and how can you really transcend all of these things that are keeping you stuck? Now, whilst I shuffle, just to give you a heads up that my diary is closed for private readings at the moment, but if you would like to book with me in future, make sure you check out my website, which is www.happysouls1111.com. Links are down below in the description. If you join the mailing list there, you will be the first to know when I open my diary, and I do open it from time to time because I love doing face-to-face readings. It's really nice to get together with you and be able to guide you directly. So if you would like to work with me in that way, you can find all the information on my website for when I open my diary and moving forward. And my classes as well. I do actually do a return to one healing and surrender class, which gives you all of the skills and tools to really become your healthiest self. We've just finished the first round of that class and it was beautiful. And I'm also teaching Reiki next year. If you haven't been Reiki attuned, remember, Reiki 1 is for self-healing. It's another string to your bow. And I keep that priced really low to make it accessible for everyone, because I think everyone should be attuned to Reiki. It's so beautiful to be able to give yourself that healing. Okay, pile 2. I'm going to ask first what's going on in your present so I can have some context and understand where these blockages are and how you're feeling about life. We have got the 3 of Cups in reverse. We've got the Empress. We've got the King of Pentacles in reverse. The 10 of Swords. The Death card. The 4 of Cups in reverse. The High Priestess. The King of Wands. The 9 of Swords in reverse. And Divine Wisdom. Wow. These are super duper powerful energies. I feel like I need to get some oracle cards out for you now as well. I'm hearing they need to come out now. So this is the Whispers of the Oracle deck. You can find this, so you can find a list of all the decks I use in the description box below. We've got Answers Within. We've got Nurture, Self-Love, and Listen to Your Body. So I do feel part 2. Obviously, at the time of uploading, we are in the middle of a global pandemic. I feel like you have been very lonely throughout this period. There's this energy of the Three of Cups coming out here, and I feel like you don't have a great deal of life or social interactions outside the home. And this loneliness, this energy of constantly kind of being on your own and not having anyone to bounce off that's inspiring you is really beginning to grate. However, I do feel that you've been using this time really productively. We've got the Empress and the High Priestess here. Now, this is beautiful, evolved, divine, feminine energy. You know, I do feel like you really have been investing in yourself and taking steps to move forward in a much healthier way. You are definitely understanding what's required of you in terms of the psychic development and the meditation and exploring your spiritual nature. And I feel like there's been a great deal of investment in really trying to bring yourself back to balance. But there is an issue here connected to love. There's an issue here also connected to unresolved pain that you are not prepared to face. And I feel like this is all interrelated, because it feels like you may already be in a relationship, but there is someone else, someone more spiritual, someone more inspiring, someone that really makes your heart race, that's lurking in the background and, you know, really giving you the drive and motivation to transform. I feel like this could be a twin flame connection in the background for you, but it does feel like you have either recently left or are still in another relationship, possibly married, with this King of Pentacles energy. And there's a real reluctance to release that stability and to move away from this. Now, we've got this Ten of Swords here, which is clarified by the Nine of Swords in reverse. For me, this is a very clear indication that you are still reeling from some kind of betrayal trauma. And this is a nightmare energy and memory and emotion that you do not want to face again. It feels like you've finally learned how to keep your head above water and you've elevated yourself from that. But this goes very, very deep, and it's for sure inhibiting how you move forward and how good you feel about yourself. You know, this is betrayal trauma. This is deceit trauma. It may or may not be connected to the partner you're with or the partner you're, you know, the one you hope to be with. But for sure, this is severe betrayal, abandonment, rejection that exists in your past that you are very reluctant to face. And, you know, there's a message came up in part one about if we don't face our pain, it owns us. You know, it defines us. And, you know, you don't want that. You don't want to be defined by this pain. Right now, you are not aware of how abrasive your communication can sometimes be. It may be only with specific people, those you feel comfortable and safe with, in terms of, you know, it's always the people closest to us that see our ugliest sides. But your communication can still be quite angry. It can still be quite abrasive. And you have this tendency to respond to any behaviours which threaten your sense of security, your sense of well-being, with very abrasive, confrontational, angry communication. I don't think you realise how much you snap and how defensive your communication can be. And I just want to make this okay for you, because I'm not shaming you. Abrasive communication is a trauma response. We sit in that energy because we're protecting ourselves. So it's nothing to be ashamed about. You know, when we are prickly around our edges, it's because we've been badly hurt. And we want to demonstrate strength and assertiveness to someone so that we can, you know, control and protect the situation so that we can be safe. So it's nothing to be ashamed of, but it is something to be aware of, because this energy filters into all that you do. And I don't think you are aware of how it affects also some of your social interactions, that you can be quite blunt and abrasive and a little bit defensive, not always receptive to constructive criticism, and hypersensitive to any perceived rejection. And when I say perceived rejection, it's because often, you know, you are seeing rejection where it doesn't exist. For example, a friend saying, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I know we were meant to go out this weekend, but something's come up with the kids or something's happened and I can't make it. You know, you would hold a grudge with that. These are the sort of things that might trigger you to feel rejected, even though, you know, it's not really personal. And even when it is personal, you know, you're really feeling it, and you don't have to. You know, the thing is, people will always judge us. People will always reject us. There'll always be people that don't like us and that don't want to spend time with us. And some of those people are too polite to say no, or to remove themselves, or sometimes we have to have interactions with people. It's okay not to be liked by everyone. You don't need to allow this to threaten your sense of self. And I feel this is what you've been working at, is really cultivating this strong sense of self, working at self-love. But the confusion here is not the confusion. Confusion is the wrong word. What's happening here is there's a comfort zone that you're stuck in, and you're even though you feel frustrated and bored, you're looking in the wrong places to resolve the feelings. I do think there's a lot of blame as well. In your situation, you are very quick to blame others for how you are feeling about certain situations, and that's giving your power away. When we spend our day saying, I've had such a bad day today, someone jumps the queue at such and such place, and someone, I don't know, nearly crashed into me at the roundabout, or someone abused me when I was walking down the street. This random stranger said I've got, I don't know, ugly hair, or, all of the unpleasant things that happen to us, the unpleasant things that people say. You have a tendency to get tangled up in that and to really dwell on it and to allow it to disturb your peace of mind. Stop giving your power away. I feel like framing it for you in that way is going to help you understand what giving your power away means. You have been cultivating this energy of inner reflection and inner peace. Why would you allow yourself to be at the mercy of other people's behaviours, comments, actions that you have no power over? The whole point of learning mindfulness, the whole point of learning to cultivate inner peace, is that you can release all of those things. You are no longer at the mercy of your external world. You can feel good anyway. There is a need to detach yourself from the opinions and behaviours of others. And there's a need to really smell your own crap. Because how you're communicating with this person, especially the one you're not happy with, the one you want to leave, isn't always fair. They are being themselves, and who they are isn't acceptable to you anymore. But it's not loving or fair to tear someone down for not being who you want or need them to be. People change. I don't know necessarily that this person has changed, but they are no longer satisfying you or giving you that sense of security and stability that you feel you need. Maybe it was this person that betrayed you, but there is an incredible amount of resentment in this relationship. And you need to understand that until you can release blame, until you can work as a team, to say, okay, rather than blaming each other, let's resolve this. Let's talk about how we can each make this better. This is never going to work. You are so angry, and, your communication isn't supportive of loving, peaceful energies. And I don't think that you realise about yourself, but you are ready to transform. The death card, and especially in this deck, this is beautiful energy. This is the energy of resurrection. This is the energy of creating a new way forward through your access to divine wisdom. And, like it says here, the answers are within. You've got all of these answers within you, but you need to start really upping your game when it comes to self-love. I'm hearing that your focus, I'm seeing this stag here in the background, your focus is quite often on the masculine and what they're doing. This other person in your zone of awareness that you're lusting after or longing for, you get very distracted from your own path because you're very desperate for them to step up and act in the ways that you feel would allow you to move away from the dysfunctional situation you're in. But you don't need anyone to empower that decision. You've got to be bold enough to make it for yourself. And so there's a fear here as well of being alone. There's a fear here of being entirely responsible for self, both financially and the home, materially, and it feels like there's someone in your past that is feels very magnetic, a very passionate, sexy, romantic interaction that you've had that has circled back around for you. And so you feel very stuck, but you're blaming your person, the partner you're with, the spouse, or this could be an ex for some of you. There is a lot of blame, and it's not our fault when people treat us badly and betray us, but it is our responsibility to feel better afterwards. It's our responsibility to take our pain and work through it, Blaming someone else, sitting in resentment doesn't help you do that. It actually keeps you stuck. And so it's time for you to let go of anger, pile 2. It's time for you to do everything you can to nurture that wounded part of self that you're so scared to face, so that you can release those low vibrational energies and behaviours that don't serve you. You are so much better than this. And I know it doesn't make you feel good about yourself. You know, I do think you have a great deal of awareness, but I think you were in part aware of this. You've just not given it the attention it deserves, you know. But a conscious relationship with yourself is like a houseplant. It's like your garden. You know, you've got to water it. You've got to take care of it. If you stop watering it, it stops growing. You know, wanting it to be healthy and grown isn't enough. You've got to work together. You've got to give something. That goes for your relationship with your person as much as it goes for the relationship with yourself. If you don't continue to nurture it in the right ways, you're not going to get the growth and the progress that you're looking for. And this includes, as I said, the relationship with yourself and the relationship with your other. So this love that you give to yourself, there's a need to be more consistent. There's a need to recognize as well that you have these answers to resolve your pain within you. You know how to do this. You know, I do feel you're a spiritually evolved person. But, you know, going back to the plant analogy, if your plant, you know, you water it every day, you feed it regularly, you care for it, but if you noticed it had little black spots on it, you wouldn't just ignore it. You'd think there's something wrong with this plant that I need to address. And you've got to do this for yourself. There are shadow aspects. There are black spots within your psyche that are inhibiting you from being your best and most loving self. And you need to address them. You need to address this pain now. You need to go deeper. You think you've done it, and you haven't. There's always more there. We keep cycling back through it, but from a higher perspective. The way out. Something good is on its way, birthing a new life. This is beautiful. I who guide you, dare to face yourself. Communion, protective frequencies, and the key to success, open your heart. Wow. Okay, so again, this answers within. I who guide you. We've got wolf and owl energy here, and lots of oranges and moons for those of you that like looking for symbols. We've got lots of moths have come up in this reading for you. We've got geese down here as well, horses, eagles and butterflies, salamanders, dogs. I know you like to look for signs, you guys, dragons. But this card, this is so beautiful. You know, again, this is about tapping in to that inner wisdom, to recognizing the light and the opportunities for growth within you. And these oranges for me are about zest for life. They're about creativity, about passion, about being enthusiastic, about your forward path, rather than anxious, rather than allowing all of your anxiety and your frustration and your resentment to bubble over and overwhelm your ability to imagine a better and healthier, brighter future for yourself. The way out is coming. You know, something good is on its way for you, part 2. There is so much transformation energies in this reading. As I said, the death card, so many moths and butterflies. You've got these horses here charging forward. Little squirrels, more butterfly wings, this beautiful eagle promising a much higher perspective. You know, things are opening up for you, and you need to trust now in that divine flow of energy because it's happening for you. The key to success is to open your heart. Do you know what? If you are a twin flame, and I do believe this is true of many relationships, but twin flame connections particularly, because they're all about energy. You know, twin flame relationships can't be in union if the energy isn't balanced and aligned. Now, for our energy to be balanced and aligned, we don't necessarily have to be healed. We just need to be brave enough to open our hearts. The heart needs to be open to giving and receiving love. Now, when we aren't healed, fear gets in the way of us doing that. Fear gets in the way of us opening up and giving and receiving love. But the key is to alleviate that fear. But we can open our hearts through practice and just develop courage to love despite the fear. And that is possible. You know, healing is a long ongoing process, but you can learn to defy the fear and open your heart. And this is where your focus needs to be as well. You know, the healing needs to be addressed, but above all else, you need to open your heart. Protective frequencies as well. If you've been feeling vulnerable, Trust that there is a lot of divine guidance and protection around you, and that you are safe. It's safe for you to love as well, is what I'm hearing. You don't need to worry about your love not being reciprocated once it's flowing authentically. At the moment, you're not loving authentically, is what I'm hearing. There's a message here for you as well about this person. I'm guided to remind you that people don't change just because you decide they should or because you want them to. And this goes for your other person. There's definitely two people in your life, one that you don't want and one that you do. I don't know what the situation is, but one that you don't want and one that you do. One, it feels, does provide some kind of stability and nurturing energy, which may have dissipated somewhat. It's not as healthy or as balanced as it used to be, but there's definitely dissatisfaction in one and huge passion and drive in the other. But people, both of these people, will only change when they are ready, and it's not your job to wait around with them. It's not your job to sit in the waiting room waiting for that to happen. You've got to know when to remove yourself from these unhealthy dynamics, rather than trying to maintain this strategy of educating them, of teaching them a lesson, and trying to get them to be different. You only have to look after yourself. It's not your job to educate anyone else. You don't have to stick around in someone else's low vibing stuff. So, there is a fear here of being alone that needs to be addressed. And, you've just got to give yourself time. You've got to focus on that. You've got to stop running away from this uncomfortable feelings and pain. You've got to start letting go of these toxic blame mechanisms that you use to cope. You've got to recognize how your own behaviors are harmful to your well-being and your relationships. And you've got to be accountable for your healing and growth. And, the healing process takes time. Sometimes you need to give yourself that time. You've got to invest in the process by being patient and giving yourself that time. And it doesn't mean that you'll never be triggered again. When we're healed, we don't arrive somewhere where we're completely free of pain or suffering. It's not like that. It's about learning to cope with the pain and suffering that presents in our lives so that we don't have to dwell there too long, so that it doesn't finish us and, so that we don't hit the deck every time something hard happens. It's about, really allowing yourself to learn how to navigate life in a more meaningful, impactful and healthy way. And I don't think you realise that you have always pushed love away with your anger, with this resentment. It's rooted in fear of abandonment and rejection. When that fear is greater than your desire to be loved, you push love away. And because you've had so much deceit, so much betrayal, that fear is strong. And as I said, the protective survival mechanism, that you have developed of being assertive and strong. Again, you need to be reminded that you can't heal yourself or others with shame and judgment. You've got to be really kind to yourself, There's also a message here about you projecting the people that have betrayed you and have hurt you onto the people who want to love you in your present. There's a need to learn to open your heart and let love in, and to recognize that you can't project the past onto other people. They're not all going to show you the same experience. And so you've got to be mindful of which behaviors you're presenting that are related to those past traumas and experiences that aren't helpful or cultivating the energy of love in your relationships. There's a need to really, be real about that with yourself. Right, let's get some final guidance cards for you. I do feel things are changing for you. They're moving the right direction. Trust the timing, perspective, and you are not for everyone. That came up before. You don't have to be liked by everyone. Let it go. Embrace your weirdness, it says here. Face your true north. Stop worrying about what other people think of you. It's so irrelevant, really. I am perceptive. I am blessed. I am responsible for my life. Yes, you are. Trust the timing. Trust the wave you came in on. Time is not running out. You've got both perceptive here and perspective. None of this matters. Zoom out. You are blessed. You're not for everyone. Zoom out of all of that inconsequential stuff that in real terms has no impact on your life. Who cares if the people at work don't like you? It's none of your business what they think of you. You know, people, if you're so triggered by random people that have no real meaning in your life, feel about you, you know, that's some healing work that you need to do. You can't be liked by everyone. Do you know what? This is reminding me of that Orange is the New Black. You know, we're in that first episode, Red. She gets upset with those women that she's meant to be walking with because they don't accept her. You know, they're mocking her and leaving her out of the kind of female gatherings. And she feels really rejected and she shoves one of them and she ruptures her fake boob and gets into all kinds of other trouble. But anyway, it's not about rupturing people's boobs. It's about remembering that when other people reject us, it communicates more about them than it does us. And reacting and feeling bad about it is just wasted energy. You know, when people are really unkind and mean, that's not something for you to be upset about or take personally. Instead, you want to reframe that and think, wow, this person's really broken inside to behave in such unpleasant ways. I don't want to interact with this person. I can't trust what they say because they are clearly not balanced and communicating from a place of love or kindness. You know, you've got to zoom out. You've got to realize it doesn't matter. You are blessed. You have enough love. You have everything you need already. You know, you don't have to be for everyone. You don't have to keep trying to please everyone. Let go of this idea that you need to be liked. Trust in your own perception of the truth as well. Sometimes I feel like you want to talk it out. Why did you say that to me? Don't you like me? Don't you care about me? What are you thinking? You want to resolve it. You want to understand. You want to know why someone doesn't like you. You want to know what you did wrong. You did nothing wrong. Continue being yourself. It's fine. You know, you are blessed. You're blessed with a mature intellectual outlook that allows you to navigate this journey with a great deal of awareness and understanding. For one, that is half the battle won. You can't teach people that. You know, you are very grown and you are doing so well, you know, but you've got to take responsibility now. You've got to stop blaming everyone else for feeling crap. And you've got to listen to your body. There's a message here about slowing down and really nurturing and taking care of yourself. You know, this self-love, making time for that instead of excuses. I really hope that helped for you, part 2. It's a pleasure as always to read for you. Please let me know in the comments if that resonated for you. Incredibly detailed, in-depth reading, so much information. Please take what resonates and leave what doesn't. And let me know down below if it helps. I love to hear back from you guys. If you did enjoy the video, please like and please subscribe. It really does help my channel to grow. And it means that I can see you again and we can be friends. So hopefully I will see you at my next video. I'm sending you loads of love and light and wishing you a spectacular weekend ahead. And I will see you again soon. Bye. Hello, Pile 3. Welcome to your reading. You have chosen the Apparition Tarot with some Lemurian quartz. I love this deck. I haven't actually used it on my channel for ages. It was kind of tucked away on my shelf and I forgot it was there. But this is a beautiful deck you've chosen. We are asking today, Pile 3, what do you need to know about your healing journey? What's blocking you? What obstacles are stopping you from moving forward and feeling your best self? How do you align with your highest potential and timeline? You know, how do you cultivate the energy of perfect well-being and a strong sense of self, of being worthy? What's blocking you from moving forward in a way that's best for your evolution and aligning you with your highest timeline? Now, I'm going to ask about your present first. That helps give us some context. While I'm shuffling, I just want to give you a heads up about private readings as well. I'm not offering them at the moment. But if you subscribe to the mailing list on my website, you will get an update every time I open my diary. And I love doing face-to-face readings. I do them on Zoom, so we actually get to chat and I get to really dig into your personal situation and guide you in a very personal way. It's really beautiful. You can also find all my classes on there, and you know, presumably you've chosen this video because you're interested in healing yourself. Both of the classes I have live and starting in January are healing focused. We've got Reiki 1, which allows you to give yourself healing energy. And that's priced very cheaply because I think everyone should be attuned to Reiki and have access to that. And I've also got the Return to One Healing and Surrender class. That's a 10-class course which allows me to share with you all of the tools, tips, tricks and techniques that have helped me heal and feel good. It's a really practical, experiential course as much as it is a sharing and caring, kind of very therapeutic environment. I'm so excited to share that with you. Hopefully I'll see you there. There's just a few spots left, I believe. Okay, what's going on in your present? What is blocking you? What are the obstacles? What are you not acknowledging about yourself? How can you move forward? Pile 3. We've got the Death card. Queen of Cups in reverse. Page of Swords. The Star in reverse. The King of Swords. The Six of Cups. The Tower. The Nine of Wands. The Empress in reverse. And the Eight of Swords in reverse. Pile 3. You're having such a rough time right now. You know, it's times like this that being so detached from the viewer, not, you know, I just want to hold you. I just feel like you need to be held. These are very harsh and intense energies that you're going through. There's a powerful transformation that is happening for you right now. We've got the Tower card here as well, which has left you feeling so rejected and less than worthy. You know, this is the energy of someone that just doesn't feel their best selves right now. They feel, the word that keeps springing to mind is disgusting, that you perceive yourself as a disgusting, unworthy, unlovable being, and it's just breaking my heart for you, Pile 3. You know, believe me when I tell you that you are magic and you are beautiful and you are perfect. And I feel like it's some relationship, there's something from your past connected to your childhood here, which you are beginning to transcend. But there's been, I want to get another card for what this Tower energy is. 10 of Wands, 9 of Cups, okay. One more. The Fool in reverse. This feels like this Tower moment. I feel like a relationship has broken down. You had to be really strong for someone else. And I feel like you've really supported them, been really strong for this person, really helped them carry their burdens and to be their emotional rock. But it felt like it was in vain. You gave so much and nothing was reciprocated. And it was kind of, this feels like a very painful ending in some kind of soul connection for you. With the Six of Pentacles, it could be something that's, you know, further in the past. But with this Tower coming out, sorry, the Six of Cups there, I feel like, look at this card. I'm going to bring it closer so you can see it. There's this House of Cards that's about to go up in flames, and then this pile of garbage and debris that is framed, that the focus is. It's like you are still focused on what crumbled, on what collapsed, on everything that burnt down, and you just can't rise above these energies of defeat, of everything being broken and it feeling so hopeless, and you feeling so hopeless about yourself. I feel it's left you feeling very bitter. You know, there's the energy of bitterness and exhaustion here, and I don't know if I can carry on. You may feel very alone and hopeless at times. And I just want to remind you, you know, if you're ever really going into those very, very dark places of wishing it was just all over and that you want to end your life, please reach out and get support. You know, this does feel like someone that just is hoping for a miracle, hoping for something to change because they feel so rotten. There is a deep inner child pain here as well. This won't resonate for all of you, but I'm picking up that there is a serious car accident in your past, and there is also a trauma response connected to that that brings up a lot of anxiety and fear for you. It may have happened when you were a child, and you know, if it did, we've got to remember that the child mind has no context for trauma because it's not mature and grown enough to articulate the experience. The trauma sits with us in a very unconscious way. That's to say that this event that happened all those years ago, it probably sits below your conscious level of awareness. You're probably not recognizing that it's still causing you problems, but there's an anxiety, a big anxiety trigger here connected to some kind of vehicle accident or significant accident you've had in your past. That needs to be explored for sure. Past life regression or regression therapy is perfect for that. I go to a lady in London, I see her every 10 to 12 weeks. I'll put a link to her website down below because she's incredible and she does do online sessions. But there is definitely something connected to the anxiety and the panic that comes up in you in certain situations from an event that was a very long time ago that was perceived trauma. I mean, it was still a stressful event, but the residue, the energetic imprint of that experience is still having a dramatic impact on your life. We've got the Star and the Empress in reverse. This is distorted feminine energy that feels hopeless. This is someone that is desperate for the knight in shining armor to arrive and make everything better. They just want to be loved. They just want to be held. They just want someone to make this okay. And this is someone as well that you spend so much time up in your head, ruminating. There's a person in your life who's incapable of authentic communication, and this really wears you down as well. But you're spending so much time up in your head. I do feel that you do have this awareness of your own propensity to ruminate, to really dwell on things that don't serve you. And I feel this is something you're trying to tackle. This is something you see about yourself. And so I want to give you some very practical guidance around that. I'm going to guide you towards Dr. Joe Dispenza. And he has a series on Amazon called Rewired. You can purchase it as a book if you prefer. But the series is excellent and it explains how we rewire our brain to alleviate and eliminate these unpleasant programs and thought processes that we have. You need to get out of your head and into your heart space. And Joe Dispenza explains how to do that. The meditational guidance he offers is quite long-winded and boring. So I recommend you go to Joe Dispenza to understand how and why it works, and then try and adopt more simplistic meditational practices. Meditation doesn't need to be so long and complicated. In fact, I think it's more beneficial when you do it in lots of short, sharp bursts. I prefer to have a 10-minute meditation in the morning and then 1 or 2 minute little meditations throughout my day to help me stay aligned. You don't necessarily have to be on your back for an hour. Who really has time to do that every day? But you do have time to give yourself 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and a couple of minutes here and there. And, Dr. Joe teaches us that reprogramming our mind from the perspective of the theta brainwave, which is what the neuroscientists describe happens to our minds when we go into that meditative trance state, that accelerates this process of reprogramming your mind at several million times the pace. I spoke about this in part 1. I don't want to go on about it too much. The information's out there. I have got a video as well called How to Heal Through Meditation on my channel, and I'd recommend this for you to really accelerate your healing. And I do talk a lot about this process in there. But you really need to take responsibility for the fact that you're in this distorted energy. This is the energy of victimhood, the damsel in distress, looking outside of yourself and feeling that on your own you can't be happy and you can't heal yourself because you can't have love. Your life feels devoid of love, and you've got this false belief that love is only available to you externally. It's not, it's in you. You are so capable of giving so much love and compassion, but you've got to start giving it to yourself. These changes and these really powerfully painful instance that you've been through recently of loss and love that have kind of, caused you to hit the ground hard and to really be in this very low energy, you've got to pull yourself out. This is about, pulling yourself up by your own bootstraps and, taking responsibility for moving it forward. And I know it's incredibly hard, but, you've got to fall in love with yourself. And letting go of this idea that someone else to do it is hard, but it's not as hard as holding on to something that isn't real. You know, you've got to choose yourself, even when other people don't want to choose you. You know, self-love is all about choosing you. It's about choosing self-care. You know, it's about rediscovering all of the power you have in you to create loving energy and feelings of well-being. It is in you. You know who's going to give you everything? You're going to give yourself everything. Yeah? You know who's going to save your ass? You're going to save your ass. I promise you, you can do this. And I want to reassure you as well that I speak from experience. I've been in this place, pile 3. I've been broken and on my arse and feeling hopeless and suicidal and like life could never be the same again. And I nearly drove my car off a cliff. I did nearly kill myself. I was stopped by some very, very dedicated volunteers that patrol those particular cliffs looking for people like me that want to top themselves. And I know how it feels to be hopeless. And that was probably 5, 6, 7 years ago that happened to me. And I'm not there now. Everything is transient. And this is the other thing that you need to remember about life. Everything is transient. Nothing stays the same. When you're in that dark place, it's so hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel. So you've just got to trust and have faith that it's there. I promise you, you can transcend all of this pain and you can feel good again. You know, it's just about turning your attention towards the right activities and solutions. And I feel like, you know, today is a great place to start. You can start doing this today. Baby steps, one little step at a time. If all you do today is learn about it, that's still productive. If tomorrow you learn a little bit more, that's great. And soon enough, you're going to start taking action, you know, and it's going to be okay. What else here? Bring compassion to the parts of yourself that feel abandoned. You know, talk to yourself as you would your own child or best friend or sister or brother or parents. You know, you've got to question the validity of your fears as well. You know, when you're being triggered, you've got to learn to ask yourself, you know, am I interpreting or perceiving this situation through the lenses of my pain and hopelessness, or am I seeing it clearly? You know, and I do think it will be helpful for you to work with a therapist, you know, so that it's someone that can help you consistently build a healthier template for coping with life and relationships and the ups and downs, you know, so that you can learn to own when you are projecting or acting out your fears in unhealthy ways, you know, because this is a very anxious attachment energy, distorted feminine energy. It's codependent energy. You know, this is someone that when they interact in love is coming at it from the perspective, I want to be close to you, but I don't know if you want to be close to me. There's fear there. Yeah, so it inhibits you from being close, from being authentically intimate, because you fear that that person may not want it with you. I want to be around you all the time, you know, or I want to have contact with you all the time because I need to be reassured of your love and commitment. That desire to be constantly communicating with someone, you know, that's coming from that distorted feminine energy, you know, and you feel anxious about whether your relationships are going to be stable or lasting. You know, you can never quite relax and enjoy them because you're always anticipating that it's not going to work out. You know, you worry that your person will leave. You question if they love you as much as you love them. You need reassurance. You wonder if you're doing something wrong that makes them not want you. You don't like being alone. You know, these are all the energies of someone who is coping with anxious attachment. You know, secure attachment allows you to have a positive view of yourself and others, to be comfortable with emotional intimacy and comfortable with that closeness and healthy relationship bonds. You can be secure and trusting, you know. It's about being independent and autonomous around your emotional needs rather than, you know, desperately wishing for someone to come and save you. You don't need to be saved. You're going to save yourself. You've got all of this divine feminine power in you and the ability to connect with deep faith if only you gave yourself the time to practice that. I do feel that you don't give yourself enough time to really cultivate these energies for yourself, or, you know, to trust in your own forward momentum. Spiritual DNA. We've got process of attunement, the power of self, the key to success, awakening Gaia and her gentle souls. I love that card. Looping, cycle of life and death, honor, bless and release the past. Pile 3, spiritual DNA. Serious alchemy is afoot. You know, when we have change, it's also about resurrection. You've got to trust that when you hit a low point, that you're going to spring back up in a much more meaningful, grown and impactful way. You're going to be a better person as a result of the challenges that you have faced. And, you know, divine light is on your side right now. You know, serious alchemy is afoot. This is magic happening for you. We've got process of attunement as well, maintaining balance and grace. But for me, you know, this is all about receiving something from spirit. We've got the butterfly here again, and it's circled to represent transformation. And we see this pathway coming out of the tunnel in this car here, you know, coming out of the dark, seeing this lighter version of ourselves, connecting to our intuition and our higher self and our higher mind. You are being pulled towards your spiritual path. I feel like sometimes, not kicking and screaming, but you find it difficult to muster the enthusiasm to actually move forward. And, you know, the power of self, change of consciousness, it's happening for you. You are already transforming. Even being attracted to readings like this is proving that spirit is guiding you towards the right path and the right answers. You know, the key to success is to open your heart. You have learned not to give love because you're so fearful it won't be reciprocated. You know, your heart needs to open and be moving freely in both directions, giving and receiving in harmony. So, you know, the key to unlocking this transformation is to give love to yourself. That opens the receiving channel for you. And from there, you're going to be in a much stronger place to start giving again. Because I feel this incident with this person that took and didn't offer anything back and left you, you know, didn't fulfill their own promises or stay with you, so, you know, offer you the same reciprocal love, you know, that's forced you to close your heart down. And I feel you've missed so many opportunities for love and support and loving interactions as a result of this closed heart. We've got awakening Gaia and her gentle souls, again, transformative and radiant love. So many butterflies and beautiful flowers growing and blooming here. The moon's representing that cycle. You know, the moon is beautiful. The moon, every month, the moon goes from nothing to everything. It goes from wholeness to nothing. It diminishes and then it grows again. You know, trust that life is just cycles. This cycle of pain that you're in, this dark moon, the void where there's nothing, is going to be full and whole and bright and light for you again. Everything's going to be okay. It's just a cycle, a looping cycle. Honor, bless and release the past. You do not need to stay here. You're seeing this situation as something that's happened to you and now it's done and your life is ruined. And it isn't. It doesn't matter how old you are. Tomorrow you can start again, and there you have access to so much joy if only you reach out and seek it. But you've got to step out of your comfort zone and start making changes. Commit to happiness. Make it your priority. Nothing is more important than you feel good. Seek seclusion. Isn't that funny that we had this loneliness energy? Trust that right now you're meant to be on your own. You know, the universe is creating the right circumstances for you to have the growth and expansion that you need. Breathe. Focus on meditation. Focus on creating that peace, balance and harmony and that stillness within yourself. Make happiness your priority. You know, put that at the top of your agenda every day and trust that this time of solitude is what gives you the space to actually have this growth and evolution. Messenger, Sirius energy, bringing harmony and balance. So there's very Starseed energy here, and again more earth energy. Earth pulsing, pulse of the mother, slow down time in nature. You know, you're not meant to be having some wild social life. And portal, the doors are opening, you decide, rewards and wild card. This is going to be okay for you. This is the energy of resurrection. This very low point you've just got to trust that you're going to rise from the ashes like a phoenix. And pile 3, everything is going to be okay. You are magic. You have got this. The universe is on your side, and you are going to move out of this energy towards a happier, healthier sense of self. And from there, anything is possible. That's where you start creating the life you want, writing your own story rather than being stuck and dwelling on what hasn't gone right even. I really hope that was helpful for you, pile 3. I love these kind of readings. I really enjoy doing them genuinely. So please let me know in the comments if this has been helpful for you, if it's resonated. And of course, if you did enjoy it, please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe and tap the little bell icon next to the subscribe button. That means you'll get an update every time I post. So I will see you next time. Lots of love. Bye.